Hi, my name is GABBIE MILCH and I'm with the St. John's Riverkeeper, and we're here today to talk about river-friendly practices. And the river-friendly practice is fertilize wisely. So you want to make sure that if you're going to be putting fertilizer down on your turf grass or fruits and vegetables, you do the right types of fertilizer and you put the right amount out. I'm here today at this box store and trying to get some of the understanding of the products. I live in a county that has a fertilizer ordinance, and we have a blackout date, so from May 1st to October 30th there's no putting out of fertilizers that are normal. We have summer blends, and that's because during that time frame there's a lot of rain that occurs, and it can wash 1 inch of water can wash the product 12 inches below the surface. And of course, you know, on your turf grass, your root system is in cooperation with the same height as the top. So if you keep your grass at 3 inches, you have about 3 inches of root. So if you put on 1 inch of water to wash that down, you're going to go way past that root zone and waste your product application. So remember, fertilize wisely. Always sweep up any spilt fertilizer, dump it back into the bag or into the spreader, and don't let that run down the storm drain, because that's a direct connect to algae blooms, and fertilizer is one third of our problem in Florida with nutrients in our waterways and our impaired waterways for not being swimmable and fishable. Fertilizers anyways, if you look at those letters on them, it's NPK. N stands for nitrogen, P stands for phosphorus, and K stands for potassium. So those are the macronutrients. And then there's some inert material in that bag of fertilizer to make it weigh what it does. And they make fertilizer in huge batches and they bag it up, and they have to have a license from the state of Florida to also make fertilizers. One way to do natural fertilizer is to use compost, and here is a brand called Black Cow, and you can see here that the composition is not so high in nitrogen and phosphorus. And I found some good products, but really fertilizing isn't required during the rainy season. Fertilizing your yard in the right time with the right amount is a good investment in your fertilizer buck. Using a proper spreader, however, is a little bit different story. So there's a lot of different kinds of spreaders, and our spreader is pretty old, and you can see right here we have a spreader. It's a Scott spreader. So to output your fertilizer, if you're a do-it-yourself person, you measure the size of your yard in square feet. You buy the right bag, which is 50% slow release, and also it has no phosphorus in the middle number, so 0 in the middle number, and you buy that and you put it out in the right amount. If you buy a 5,000 square foot bag, just put out 3,000 of it and save a little bit more than half until next time. So those are some tips that can help with fertilizing your yard properly. How to take a soil sample. You're going to get your scoop and you're going to scoop out a scoop of sand, put it in a container, and then you're going to proceed to go to other parts of your yard and do the same, and so you get kind of a cross section of the whole yard. And then you're going to take it and get it tested for nutrients and some other things that they have, and it's a pretty interesting experience if you've never done a soil test. Gives you a lot of good information to go by. Soil tests are good. So my grass, you can see, is a mix of different grasses. It's a St. Augustine, but it's a lot of different shades of green, and that's also because the way the sun's coming through. But I have a healthy mixture here, and I haven't put any weed and feed and grow stuff on it this season, and I typically don't, and I just kind of mow it, and if it's green, it's great, and if there's not a lot of holes in it, then I'm okay with it. And I choose how I water because I'm in control of my irrigation system. Ways to not fertilize your yard, things to think about would be that if you clip your grass, have the clippings drop and use that as your fertilizer and feel good about that. Also, that really, if you look at my yard and my neighbor's yard, there's not that much difference, and I haven't fertilized this year, so a little bit can go a long way. Well, I'd like to thank y'all for coming up today and taking a couple minutes to watch my ranting and raving about river-friendly landscaping. So remember, check us out online, stjohnsriverkeeper.org. We have some really good YouTube channel that you could subscribe to, and we have a lot of videos on there about resiliency and get the green out and talking about toxic algae blooms and things. So I hope that next week you'll check in again, and I'll be talking about composting and also about some backyard vegetable growing that I've been doing. I made some experimental planters, so we'll be learning about that and how to make your own experimental planter. All right, until next week, take care.